Hey there, welcome back to my garden. My name is Lacey and we're gardening in Zone 8B here in Western Oregon. And we woke up this morning to a really nice kind of overcast sky. There's actually even, I'm feeling a little bit of a drizzle in the air. This should be burning off in the next couple hours though, so I thought it would be a perfect opportunity to come out here and give you guys a little garden tour around our early fall, very late summer garden. So this time of the year, I feel like is when we really get to see the true warriors in our gardens. You know, if you're watching a marathon race and you see the runners start off, they're all fresh and powerful and you're just impressed by all of them. I feel like that's my garden in spring. Everything is fresh and new and, you know, doing great because it's all well watered. This time of the year, though, we see who the true fighters are, who the true athletes are at the end of the marathon, who's coming in strong and still looking good. It's like, okay, these guys deserve some attention. And that is definitely the fall garden for me. I love to walk around. I love to see what is still doing well, because I will tell you time and again that if a plant is doing well in my garden, it is the plant's doing. It is not mine. If something is not doing well, it is my fault. So what you're going to see today are plants that are doing well and some that might not be, but for the most part, it is just a lovely time to walk around and observe how the garden is doing. So I'm excited to take you guys around today, and we're just going to start up here actually on the front lawn because we are next to the Mini Vista Whites, and I think they deserve some attention. Okay, so I have this little swath of Mini Vista Whites here in this garden, and this area has not gotten a ton of water. If you guys have been here for a while, you know what I talk about with our watering situation. I water minimally. I have to hook my hoses up to the irrigation, the drip irrigation that I have throughout many of these gardens, but they do not get consistent water. Over the summer, we don't get hardly any rain at all. I think we went several months without rain this year. So the fact that these are still looking so fresh, so full, just absolutely covered in blooms, I feel like this plant is such a dynamic winner in my garden. I also think I fertilized these guys maybe once. I have not had to spray them with budworm or with BT for budworms yet. Sometimes I do have to do that in the season, but so far so good. These are just still plowing forward. You can see they're kind of creeping between the boxwood that are right here. So this bed right here on our front lawn, this is one of my many no-dig beds. This was actually the first one that I put in, and these are definitely my most happy gardens. The ones that are the no-dig beds, they are all loving their lives. So you can see there's an Atlas rose in there that's still putting on some blooms. We put in that sedum that's kind of creeping through there earlier this year, and it's blooming and looking pretty down there in the bottom of the bed. And you can see the Russian sage. This Coreopsis right here, Caryopteris right here is doing beautifully. This is what this plant is just made for. This time of the year is when it shines for sure. The pollinators absolutely love it, and I just love the combination of this chartreuse foliage next to the boxwood, next to this pretty apricot color of the Atlas rose, and the barberry that is right behind it. Just absolutely love Caryopteris this time of the year. So then we have a couple Bobo hydrangeas. There's 3 of them right there. Kind of a little bit sad on some of them, showing a little bit of stress, but for the most part, they're starting to take on their pink tinge, which is super sweet. As I come down this way along the path, you can see just this big collection of plants. This is just, I think of this as a big bouquet, and I absolutely love it. There's a viburnum in the middle. I think it's a Korean spice or a Berkey, I think is what that is. It's kind of limbed up into a tree form, but it's hard to see underneath there. You can see these beautiful panicle hydrangeas. I don't recall the variety. These were ones that I got, you know, just at I think it was even at our drugstore. Maybe they have some plants for sale out in front. I think I got these for maybe $10. There's 3 of them around this garden bed. I think I got them for $3. Or no, I'm sorry, $10 each. And I really, really enjoy them. They're taking on their fall color, as well as we've been having some really cool nights. So they take on that pink tinge. They were white when they came out. These ones really have really nice strong stems, which I really appreciate. So see, just down in the front of this bed, like many of my beds, lined with heuchera. As I come around, you can see some more. You can see another barberry, which are not invasive for us here in Western Oregon, which is great because I utilize them a lot in my gardens. I also have some Pugster Blue here that could definitely use some deadheading. There's still some more buds that are coming on, so they'll continue to push out some color. But it's really, really, really happy stand of plants there. There's 3 of those there. Very, very full in that spot with a little bit more of the Mini Vista whites down there on the bottom of that bed. Underneath there, unfortunately, kind of shrouded are some boxwood. So over here is another just absolutely beautiful star of the fall garden. Was this aster. I don't know the variety of this one because I got it from a friend of mine years ago, and it is glorious, just covered in these beautiful purple blooms. Looks like almost a shrub. Unfortunately, it is flopping over in the back quite a bit, so I think could be because of some rain we had recently, but I think I also this one could benefit from a little bit more of the Chelsea chop halfway through the summer. I could cut it down. I did some here on this side. You can see they're standing up a little bit better, but I should have probably done the entire plant. That would have helped it stay up a lot better. This pieris right here I'm noticing is looking beautiful. I love popping in evergreen shrubs every now and again. You can see this one right here. Here's another one. This is just a little holly. Lots of little evergreen shrubs just here and there for year-round color and structure in the garden. In the back there you can see some solidago. That is fireworks solidago goldenrod. Also another one that's just, this is its time of year to shine. So love that combination of the yellow with the asters here. Looking really super pretty there. There's a limelight prime tucked in right there. Didn't bloom too well. That does have a few little blooms on there. It just obviously doesn't get enough sun. It's right underneath this gigantic Weigela. Gigantic Weigela. So it's kind of protected, but I don't mind. It's still looking good. It's still looking healthy. Has a few buds on it. So I don't mind that it's underwhelming, I guess, a little bit, just because it still looks healthy and green and is holding its spot well there. Some hostas underneath this tree. This is a red Japanese maple. I got this as a seedling from my parents' house that I grew up in. I have 2 of these in my garden and I absolutely love it. I've just been kind of working on training up the bottom of it so that it is nice and open and kind of airy in the middle. It's hard to tell that it's red, right? You know, a red Japanese maple looks very, very similar to the green Japanese maple that's over on this side. But yeah, these will start taking on their fall color very soon and looking gorgeous. So down here, this is another plant that continually impresses me. This is a sunshine ligustrum. It is evergreen, so it just holds on to this beautiful chartreuse color all season long, all year long, really. And yeah, that's one that definitely stands out to me throughout my garden. So you can see on the side here, some sedum, another plant that continually amazes me. This one is a dark variety. I think this is Dark Magic, I want to say. The bloom color is a little bit, I don't know, it's not as striking to me. If I scan up here, you can see the pink on that one out there. That's just absolutely beautiful, but still it's the foliage for me on this one that I really, really appreciate. You have some anemones right there that are blooming. These ones have been in the garden for quite a while, and I think they're just starting to take off and show their a little bit aggressive tendencies, really kind of spreading through the front of this garden. But that's okay. I'll just see what they do and take care of them if they get a little bit out of control. So here is a little lime, I think is what this one is. Another one that's just starting to show its fall color, little tinges of pink on those blooms, looking really sweet. The foliage on that's looking really good. I think it gets good protection from the late afternoon sun from this tree above it, so that definitely helps. There's a sweet little Nandina that we planted in earlier this year. It's a variety that has pink variegation, so I'm excited to see what that one does as it gets more and more settled into the garden. See here, this is one of the reasons why I plant barberries. Look at that color. These take on fall color as well. They get this even more vibrant pink color. They're just almost electric. I absolutely love them. And I am sad for people who can't grow them. I'm sad for people who don't like them. I grow, this one is Rosy Glow, and I have several other varieties in my gardens too. Crimson Pygmy is one that I have, but also Concord is my favorite. But this just looking gorgeous. Down on the bottom side, we'll go down there in just a minute, but you can see there's some more asters that are backed by the sedum. And I just think that color combination is absolutely lovely. So coming this way, we have a Miss Violet, I believe is what this one is. This one's also getting quite large. This Buddleia here could use some deadheading also, but it still has, look at all these tons of buds that are yet to open. So I anticipate if we continue to get warm-ish weather, which is still part of our forecast, that will continue to do really well all throughout this fall. The euonymus down there, we have some columbine that needs to be cut back. It's looking pretty raggedy. I've cut this back already. This was its second flush of the foliage, but it needs to be cut back again. And underneath there is some Mini Vista Indigo. So this is another one of the proven winners. Mini Vistas, I'll show you another area where I have this planted, and it has just done really, really well. It's starting to look a little bit tired, but from afar, and you can just see this beautiful color, and it's a really good one in the landscape. There's some Caryopteris. We have a dahlia that we planted together, and look at all the buds. Look at all the buds. Dahlias just really love the cool nights, and so these have really started to show off. I have another one that I'll show you here in a little bit too that's doing beautifully. So this area up here, we have a really, really tall rose there. This has such sweet blooms. I'll get you up closer. Look at that bloom. Look at that bloom. Isn't that sweet? I just love the color. It's so dainty. Definitely needs some deadheading on this. I can take those stalks way far back. So we'll have to do that here pretty soon. On the corner, I have a Autumn Brilliant Serviceberry that will be taking on its fall color very soon. A sad dappled willow, I'm not really sure what to do with that, but then I'll scan this way and you can see here's another area that is really, really showing off with the sedum. It is just the perfect fall plant in my opinion. This is Sedum Autumn Joy, which most of my varieties in the garden are that look like this. I have a couple that are similar, like the improved versions of Autumn Joy, but this is one that I definitely rely on in my garden. So here's another barberry. You can see what it's doing. These are not invasive for us here. You can see all these little berries here. Probably those of you who are in areas where these are invasive just would absolutely cringe at this because you know that's why they probably are invasive, all those little berries on there, but they're not for us. And like I said, I'm very thankful because they are beautiful. This area right here, we have a pretty large rhododendron there on the right, and then right in front is another sunshine ligustrum. So let's go around on that side. This is an Ito peony. The foliage is still looking beautiful. But over here on this side, here's the sunshine ligustrum next to a spirea that's that did put on some more blooms a little bit, but you can see its new growth is just very sweet. Very sweet next to this sunshine ligustrum, and then with another sedum popping out next to it. Just a little container right there with some white calibrachoa. And then this very splayed out grass. Unfortunately, this is one that's hard to tame. It has a cage in there that kind of holds it in place, but once we get a little bit of rain, it takes a minute to get back up from its flopping, unfortunately. So back in here, you can see there's another Caryopteris peeking through that actually was just a seedling that I dug out. Can't hardly even see it. I dug it out of our driveway, and it's been growing there for probably about 7 years and is really finally doing its thing. So I'm just going to scan this way. This is the area that we just walked through. And now over here on our front gardens, back up a little bit so you can see. So we have the arbs back there that we've been kind of battling with, trying to keep alive. I'm not sure that they're going to make it. Then we have some phlox up here that definitely need some deadheading, but the foliage is looking good. So I think those are going to be awesome in the garden coming up in the next, in the future. Right in front, there's some heuchera, some carex. another barberry, and then we have this spirea right here that's actually, it's a gold or a snow mound spirea that's pretty much just a green element in the garden most of the year. Coming along here again, this is another stand of the sedum autumn joy. Just absolutely love it. Here's some heuchera that I cut back because they were looking pretty rough, and they're just pushing out this new growth, and those will be beautiful for the fall. And they are evergreen, so they'll be beautiful through the winter as well. Right back here you can see there's a white chiffon rose of Sharon that we planted in together, and it's been blooming and has put on some new growth. So I'm super happy to have that one in the garden. I'm excited for it to grow up tall and to be a real statement piece right here in the front of the garden. There's a couple knockout roses here that just continue to bloom and bloom and bloom. I definitely see why these are so popular. This color isn't my favorite. It's a little bright for me, but I've not yet taken it out because it is just such a performer, provides such interest in the garden. This one's a little pinker than this one, but both beautiful right here at the entrance to the front gardens, as you can see. So if I pull this way, here is the swath that I was talking about that I have of the Mini Vista Indigo. This is a raised bed. As you can see, it's kind of built up by these boulders, and it's absolutely loving its life. I think I maybe put 5 in here around the front of this bed, and they're just absolutely gorgeous. One thing I really love about them is that they have the variation of color, the kind of the progress of their color, and they get to be, you know, you get to have a little bit more interest than just a solid block of purple, which I really like. Some little haughty hydrangeas back there. I've realized these guys struggle because our dog comes in and lays at the base of them. I think he likes the cool soil, so he kind of pulls the soil away from the root balls, and unfortunately they suffer because of that. So you can see our sweet window boxes that we planted up recently. You can see the video on those if you want to see the details on those a little bit more closely. So I think, let's go up here to the driveway raised beds really quick so you can just see how glorious these plants are. These have gotten such little water from me. I think I need to mention that just because that just shows how amazing these plants are. So there's some more Mini Vista Whites. The ones in the middle are the Saffron Finch, and then these are a new variety for next year. I want to say they're, Storm Cloud, maybe? I'll have to look that up, but they are so sweet. They're another Mini Vista. These are all Mini Vistas in this, maybe Saffron Finch is not. Anyway, they are just gorgeous, doing super well. And then there's a little bit of, this is the, what salvia is this? It is not playing the blues, but anyway, it's doing very, very well. Maybe Mystic Spires? I'm not sure. Anyway, it's doing great. And then this dahlia that we put in the middle also is just putting on a show right now. It took a minute to start blooming, but now that we are having the cooler nights, a little bit more regular moisture, a little bit more moisture in the air, this is doing beautifully, and I love looking out at it from my kitchen window. This bed over here has some playing the blues salvia and a dahlia in the middle. The playing the blues are definitely the star of the show in this one. The annuals on the bottom are looking a little tired. There's some of the little pink calibrachoas down there by proven winners, and then some of the Nemesia, the white variety. I don't recall the name of that one, but those have been quite productive this year and just really, really a delight to look out at. And then we have some of the Suncredible sunflowers. This bed is getting a little bit of a mess, but I'm still really enjoying it. There's some unplugged blue salvia in there. There's some Gara. There's lemon coral sedum, and then there's the amethyst superbena down there on the bottom. And I don't even mind. It looks pretty crazy. It looks a little messy, but those are all annuals, and so I don't really mind that they're just really overflowing in the bed, looking really beautiful. So we'll come over here to this area over here, which is another one of the no dig beds, right on the side of the driveway. It's beautiful Limelight Standard. This is its first year in this spot, though I've had it for several years. It's the first year I've found a good spot for it, and it's been happy and it's been productive, and I just absolutely love it. I'm excited to see what this one does in the years to come. And there's another plain the blue salvia, and these could actually be perennial for me here. They say, I think that they're down to zone 7, so there's a possibility this one will come back, and it has been just a joy to have in the garden. It has done so well, has needed such little care from me. Same with the meteor shower verbena on the other side. You guys were with me when we planted those in, and they have just continued to bloom and bloom and bloom and do absolutely beautifully. Down here in the front, still blooming with gorgeous foliage. This is the Mavis Simpson hardy geranium. And this is what I'm talking about. Plants like this that have made it all through the summer, into the fall, still looking beautiful. I feel like they are definite winners, and I need to make notes of those in my memory to repeat those elsewhere in the garden so that I can have that impact throughout. So we have some of this is baby's breath over here. I haven't deadheaded these at all, and that's on me. So again, if plants aren't looking awesome, it's my fault because I haven't deadheaded these. They've done really well though, continuing to push out blooms underneath the spent blooms. So if I came back here, unfortunately this is on the back side of this garden, so I just don't see it very often. So I kind of forget, but those have been a nice addition to the back side of this garden. Again, just planted them in this year, so next year will be even more telling of their abilities. Unfortunately, this garden is one that the chickens come into and they dig around and they expose roots, and that's unfortunate. So again, speaks to the power and the strength of these plants, that they are still looking pretty good even though the chickens are really disturbing them. All right, so then we're just gonna come back down here. Then we have some Kelsey dogwoods down here that are just gonna be staying nice and compact, and a lemon lime nandina backing up this garden. And then on top of that one, there is a October Glory maple that looks like it's starting to take on some of its fall color, but that's the last one that I have to that'll really take on its fall color. So that's always fun to look forward to. We'll just scan this way and you can kind of see the direction that we're gonna go. We'll just walk down the driveway there, walking along this direction, just kind of see how things are doing. A lot of shrubs, making their statements right now. Another barberry. You can see we have some grasses here that are taking on. This is the Cheyenne Skies panicum, taking on their reddish color. And the spireas are starting to turn their fall color as well. Another lemony lime nandina, which is an evergreen, really stays beautiful all year long. Another hydrangea. You can see this nepeta. This is its second flush. Blooming. There's not many pollinators out yet right now. It's still a little bit cold for them. But usually that would be absolutely covered. Viburnum. Right here, spring bouquet viburnum. Has all sorts of little sweet seeds on it, or berries rather. Just looking really good. You can see again why I really enjoy sedum. Right there, just really, really eye-catching. All right, and then this garden down here, we have some really tall Miss Molly. I think I always call these the wrong thing every time I do this video, every time I do garden tours, but I believe these ones are Miss Molly. They are very tall. There's two right here in the front of the bed. There's an instant karma elderberry right there in the back, and there's an Asian moon butterfly bush there, and right there. Right down in front here, there's another Caryopteris. A golden Caryopteris looking beautiful, and a 9-bark behind that with some Gara peeking through. Isn't that a pretty combination right there? The dogs and the cats love this bed because it is very cozy inside there. The elderberry has some berries on it, adding to the interest there. And then there's a Carl Forrester grass peeking up right there in the middle as well. So these are more of the rose glow barberries that are starting to take on their fall color as well. These boxwoods that we put in are doing great. This is the Independence variety of the next gen boxwoods, and they're doing really well. I've hardly had to come down here and water these guys. Unfortunately, it looks like this one may have taken a beating from one of the dogs. Yeah, it looks like there's some branches that are off of there. Unfortunately, they will run through and break off branches, but it looks like it didn't damage the form of it too much. So We'll just pan back this way. You can see that Dusty Miller in the front is just super eye-catching as well. And I just love this view as we come up our driveway. So now we're down here in the lower beds, and we'll look at this one. This is another one of the new no-dig beds that we've just recently put in. You can see these Nova Opal Coreopsis are, again, in full bloom. They kind of went through their first flush when I first got them, and then those kind of died out. And now that we're having the cool weather again, the new buds have opened into these beautiful, beautiful blooms. I absolutely love this variety. Just a little lavender. And I think that I lost these other two Agastaki. We replanted one because I lost it. And I think these ones are gone too. They had super small root balls. So I think that might have been a part of it, but it's not the worst because I wasn't thinking that they looked that great next to this Nepeta. Oh, look at that. Look at that weed. That's unfortunate. But anyway, so it's not the worst thing. I'll just probably figure out something different to put in that spot. So right here we have a Miss Ruby Buddleia. We have a Catalpa, El Nino Catalpa that has been blooming and blooming, smelling wonderful. Just look at those blooms. So unique, so unique. And then this gorgeous variegated butterfly bush. It's so beautiful. I'll have to show you the perspective from a little further back on the other side so you can see how all of these shrubs work together so well in this bed. It's just a really beautiful combination. I've really enjoyed how this bed has come together. This is the Pur Pink Nepeta. There's, I think, 3 of them there. Just a little light colored Nepeta. There's another one of the Cheyenne Skies that we just planted in, and then this mellow yellow Spirea. This whole bed has just really been fun to put together. Look at these Caryopteris. This is the Beyond Pinked Caryopteris. Again, another absolute star this time of the year. It doesn't look like much most of the season. Most of the year, you know, in the fall or in the spring, it's late to kind of emerge. In the summer, it's just this kind of a green mound, which I do appreciate. But right now, they are definitely doing their thing, looking beautiful. We have some daisies right there in the middle that aren't doing much, but look at this combination between the variegated butterfly bush, and then you can see this is a neon burst dogwood that is going to have the most glorious fall color coming up here pretty soon, and then beautiful red stems in the winter. But I just love this. I love how this bed has come together. It's really made me very, very happy. And these Digiplexus just continuing. I don't know what's happened here. Some of them have broken off, but continuing to bloom, looking absolutely beautiful. Hopefully those will come back next year, but time will tell. Oh, this dogwood's looking very sad. This dogwood tree, not looking great. Oh, that's sad. Hopefully once it loses its leaves, it'll bounce back and be okay next year. But there's a ladybug on it, which indicates that possibly there's some bug issues. I don't know. We'll see. This one was being quite girdled when I planted it, and I discovered after the fact, I was digging around in the soil and found that it had been balled and burlapped, and the twine was really wrapped hard around the trunk. So I had to kind of dig down in there, rectify that situation, and hopefully that didn't do permanent damage on that. But anyway, down here in this bed, you can see these roses are starting to bloom. I think these are the double pink Ringo, I want to say. Lots of buds on these, and these are kind of my indication of whether I've had deer pressure in the garden, and it does not look like the deer have bothered these. So I think my dogs are doing a good job keeping the deer away from my gardens. So come this way and we can see these are some of the microchip blue Buddleia that are still blooming. There's some pink butterfly bushes in the middle. But as we come around the front, we will see some more of the Mini Vista Whites. These ones are looking a little bit more tired than the other ones. Little less blooms on these ones. Not sure, probably because I'm having mole issues. Down here you can see that moles are just making their way around this garden bed. Definitely probably agitating the plants in here, but the Caryopteris don't seem to mind a bit. Look at these. Okay, so here's the first little bee that I've even seen. And he's, of course, on this plant, because this is usually absolutely covered in the pollinators. Coming around here, again, you can just really see the barberries popping out, looking beautiful. There's a black-laced elderberry in there as well. This area is another area that the chickens really love to come into. This is where I'm always pushing them out of, unfortunately. As we come through here, this is a snowball viburnum. I'm working on training it into a tree, so this will be a slow process, but I did take off quite a few of the lower branches of this guy. So hopefully eventually it'll be tree form and it'll come up over this garden bed and kind of arch over this pathway. Lots of lamb's ear. Transplanted all of these things in here just as starts, the lamb's ear and any other small plants. This is a bed I don't come into very often. So it's nice to walk through and see how it's doing. But yeah, all of these hardy geraniums, transplanted these in just as little bitty starts, little babies from other plantings elsewhere. This is a tiny tough stuff hydrangea, not looking great. Didn't have any blooms on it, but it just was planted in last year. So maybe after another season it'll do better. But look at this grass. I don't remember the variety of this grass. I transplanted it in from another spot, but look at that pretty fall color. It's just beautiful. Very, very thin but effective looking black-laced elderberry. I really like the look of that in the garden. So now we're gonna come back out of this garden bed and over here to another no-dig bed that we just started to really plant up more heavily this year. There's a red maple right there. I think it's a Norway maple. I have to look up the name of it, what I'm remembering it is, but you can see over here, there's just these cone boxwood. Planted these in this year. Very, very heavy. Very heavy when I planted them. They were really difficult, but they were worth it. I'm happy that they are doing well. Right here we have some pink cashmere superbena that was kind of an experiment. I transplanted these in here last fall after I took them out of containers, and they have done so beautifully. I have another stand of them elsewhere. I'll show you when we get over there. They have just bloomed and bloomed and bloomed. So yes, they are perennial for me, yet they act like an annual in that they bloomed all season long, doing absolutely beautifully. So these Veronica here have still done well. They're still pushing out blooms. It's really enjoying those, but look at just even the foliage. Hardly any water. They've received hardly any water, and the foliage is still just looking beautiful, doing really, really well. You guys were with me when I planted most of these things in this bed, so hopefully you remember and you can see how things are doing. So this is the Apache rose, and this is what I'm talking about. This is what I focus on this time of the year. I look at what is really catching my eye that has just continued to grow and looking beautiful even now, and this Apache rose is definitely a grass that super, super high performer. Look how stately it is. Thick blades, just really nice and tall. It hasn't flopped at all with the rain that we've had, and I just appreciate that. I put those in the memory bank so that I can remember to use those more often if I need another grass. So here's one of my most favorite barberries. This is the Concord. This one is taking a little bit of a different color. I'm not sure if it's a fall color, if it's stress. I'm not sure what's going on there, but these two show the color that they hold on to all season long. Over here, this is an Agastache that's done beautifully. This one I planted in last year. It got super tall, cut it back, second flush of blooms, absolutely beautiful. Next to this Sunshine Ligustrum that we planted in together, doing awesome. And then this one right here is a Flipside Vitex. Loving this one. I'm so happy we moved it down here this spring out of where it had been because it just was too large for its spot, and it's filling in this area just beautifully. So it's called Flipside because on the other underside of the leaves, you can see here they're purple, and then they get these beautiful purple blooms that absolutely are loved by the pollinators. You can already see a bee back there enjoying it. And this, again, this was transplanted in the spring and it just didn't even miss a beat. It's doing beautifully. Right over here, here's a little sedum that we just planted in a few weeks ago. doing well. Another little hottie hydrangea. Not performing as amazingly as I'd hoped, but it's doing okay. Looks like there's maybe a little bit of an issue with the leaves. But again, for the fact that these hardly get any water down here, I'd say that's pretty impressive for a hydrangea. But these are more of more of the pink cashmere superbena that I planted in last fall, and I definitely overplanted. I wasn't feeling confident that they were actually going to come back. I wasn't sure, and they did, and they have been beautiful. They've just been blooming and blooming, kind of overtaking areas. I probably should prune them back a little bit before they damage what's around them, but it'll almost be time to do that anyway. So here's another one of the Apache Rose panicums. As I scan this way, this is the Carolina Sweetheart Red Bud that we planted in together, and it's still doing well. It's, you know, just kind of sitting. I think next year we'll be telling of how well it took in this spot, but I'm excited. I'm excited to see what it does. Little viburnum underneath there, just some ground covers we've planted in on the bottom here. Here is one sad thing. Oh, these pincushion flowers definitely need to be cut back. They've done beautifully, but now they're definitely getting powdery mildew, but they bloomed and bloomed and bloomed, doing really, really well. It's another Agastaki that we planted in recently. Still looking beautiful. But this camellia right here is dead. I need to pull that out, but I think that'll be fun. I think it'll be a good spot maybe for a tree. I think I need something a little bit taller there to come up over this garden and provide just a little bit of a break from the sun. So, you know, when things die, it's an opportunity to rethink the space and think about what else might look good there. So here's one of the can't remember, what was this? Chrysalis Blue, I think this is a buddleia we planted in. It was just tiny when we planted it in, but it has grown a ton and has been blooming and blooming. So that one is a success if the camellia is not. And then over here, this actually, I don't know if you guys remember when we planted this in. This is one of the, this is a salvia. Here's one also right in the middle there. And there's one right here. This one has lots of nice new growth on the bottom. But we got these for $5 at Bauman Farms. And this one is just, it could not be happier. It just started to grow and put on a ton of blooms. And I just was shocked, especially compared to how the other two that I planted in at the exact same time. So that's been really sweet to see. This beauty berry, it's gonna start hopefully producing its berries. I'm surprised it kind of hasn't yet. We'll see what this one does. This is one of the Proven Winners ones. I'll put up the name on the screen because it's escaping me right now, but it's it should have purple berries in the fall, so we'll keep an eye on that. This is just its first full year in the garden, so it's all right if it doesn't do the best this year. Time will be on its side, I think, for sure. So you just scan down here. Things are looking a little tired, except for, I come down here and show you the purple haze butterfly bush. Definitely filling in this spot, definitely looking beautiful and happy still. Still tons of buds on it, yet to open. And again, this is one of those ones at the end of the marathon, it's still going strong. Same with the Nepeta that's on the other side of it. Still looking absolutely beautiful. But you can see in this spot, I think it would be nice to remove obviously have to remove the dead, the dead camellia. But I think that it would be pretty to have something that gets a little bit taller in this spot. So be keeping my eye out for that, thinking on that. And then coming this way, let me back up a little. So this is our most recent no-dig bed that we've put in. We've worked on this a lot together, so I'm happy to kind of show you guys how it's doing at this point. We have a crabapple in the middle, Nepeta around the sides. I have lots of videos that show you guys what is planted specifically in here, but just everything's doing really well. The fluffy arb back there, not so much, but that's actually just one branch that's not doing well. So I may just cut that back and I think it'll appreciate that. But that's kind of the only thing in this space that looks like it's having a little bit of a struggle. Otherwise, Otherwise, it's doing really well. Look at the color. This Cheyenne Skies Panicum. Isn't that beautiful? Just really pretty. Looks really nice with the euphorbia that's down there. Miner's Merlot, I believe is what that one's called. Then we have some more barberries down here, some butterfly bush in the back, some weeds that I need to pull out. But look at the color on this hydrangea. I think next year it'll be much happier. It won't be flopping, but isn't that interesting? On this side, it's still totally white, but on this side, you definitely see the coloration that it takes on. This one right here as well. Look how pretty that is. Smoke bush is doing well, just chilling, just waiting for next year to put on some growth, I think. Then again, here are the steatums, just really, again, very eye-catching. Mellow yellow spirea in the middle, a couple nepeta in the front. And yeah, this bed is doing well. The little salvias that we put in, these are the Pink Profusion salvias that we got on clearance. They've been blooming and blooming, doing awesome. Then coming around this side, you can see some more the lavender, but then some more of the Cheyenne Skies Panicum. Also just putting on the beautiful fall color that it's known for. So this might be why this hydrangea is having a problem. My cat just jumped right into the middle of it. That's buggy. But anyway, look at this. Look at this Rose of Sharon. I almost gave this away to my mom and I think she would have loved it, but I'm glad I kept it because she decided she didn't want it and whatever. So anyway, it has ended up being such a joy in this garden. I was leery of it because it said it was red. Oh, what was the name of this one? I'll put it on the screen. But it described it as red, and this is definitely more pinky red to me. I don't have much red, flowering plants in my gardens, so that's why I wasn't totally sure. But gosh, it has done so well for how little attention that I've given it. I think the flowers like, plants like this that flower in this way, I always suspect that they're going to be fussy. I always suspect that they're going to need a lot of care. But this one has done absolutely beautifully. I mean, look at even the unopened bud. Look at that. They're just so pretty. Very, very happy with those. So we have some Firefly Fuchsia Yarrow down here that has just continued to bloom. I could probably deadhead these, but there's still yet to come on some more. And another Purple Haze butterfly bush with a huge, huge bumblebee on it. That guy is huge. Sleeping, not yet woken up, but anyway, I've been so pleased with this garden as well. It's just really a joy to watch these gardens come together that we've been working on together. So this is the back side. We were just up on the front lawn. You can see back here, this is where the Solidago was or is. There goes my cat up on the arbor. So we'll come this way. This is another thing. This is another one to point out, the lemon cypress. They're all doing really well that are in the landscape. Happy to point out ones like that have just really, really shown off. They've been very stable, consistent plants in the garden. Not sure what he's doing up there. So we'll come through the arbor here. Just get a little look at this bed. This one's looking a little tired. But I do still love this big swath of the butterfly or of the lamb's ear down here in the front. There's a lot of stuff going on in the garden, so I think it's nice to have areas that just give the eye a point to rest, such as the big swaths of things like the lamb's ear right there. Coming this way, the containers are still looking good with a golden euonymus. There's some hollies in those other ones. Yeah, I just think it looks pretty. I think it still looks pretty this time of the year. All right, we're not going to look at this bed too much because we are going to be doing some work on it. As you can see, there's some plants waiting to be used in that spot. This is another garden that is looking a little tired, unfortunately, but still looking okay. I think it looks like a fall garden. It is taking on its fall color. You can see this beautiful, I think this is a, I'll have to look it up. I'm not remembering now what it is, but beautiful maple taking on its fall color. There's a burning bush right there that's going to be absolutely glorious very soon. I like burning bush. I know that they're also invasive some places, they're not here, but I look forward to the color, and I appreciate just the green shrub that it is the rest of the season. So we have some scaevola down here that's continuing to bloom for as little of attention also as it's gotten. No fertilizer or anything like that, but still just a nice dainty white touch in the front of this garden. The Baptisia is like a shrub there. There's 3 of those. Beautiful flowering in the, midsummer or the early summer, but at this time of the year they just look like a lovely, almost like a eucalyptus shrub. So Weigela on the end here is looking really pretty for just being a green shrub. I appreciate that. Coming back here on this side, hosta's still looking okay. This bed just got a good watering, so everything kind of perked up. It was looking a little bit sped, a little bit peaked, but it's doing okay. So you guys were with me when we put this container in here, moved it from another spot. There's a clematis in there that's currently not doing anything. Won't take too much time on this area because we did just spend quite a bit of time here cleaning it up, moving some things around, planting in this Rosalie clematis that hopefully will next year fill in this obelisk nicely. And then over here, it's all nice and cleaned up with the sweet, sweet boxwood. Okay, we're gonna come down these steps so that I can give you this viewpoint. Some rose branches that I took off of this gigantic rambling rose on the top of this arbor. But this perspective right here, this is another one of the red Japanese maples that I got from my parents' house as just a seedling. My parents' house where I grew up in, they don't live there anymore, so it's extra special in the house that I was born in. So I just absolutely love this tree. It comes out with much more reddish purpley leaves, but this time of the year obviously they're quite green, and they'll take on some fall color. It's put on a lot of growth over the last couple years. I've been limbing it up. I've been kind of opening up the inside so that some light can get into the plants that are underneath it. And yeah, I just love this tree. I'll be very sad if this tree ever met its demise. But anyway, this area under here definitely needs some drip tube ran through it. It just does not get enough moisture, and I unfortunately kind of forget about it and don't water it very often. So this Aconocloa could definitely be looking better. The Brunnera, same thing. Oh, back there, let's not pay attention to what's back there. That's pretty sad. But yeah, that's a garden bed that I recognize definitely needs some attention. So coming over here into the back garden, you can see this privet is still doing well, nice and green, nice stately piece on the back corner. Got some Sun King Aurelia. This one will wilt and look sad, and then I water it and it perks back up. So I appreciate that for sure. That one's actually in a container, if you can see it in there. It's in a terracotta pot, and it just perks up after I water it, and that's great. I appreciate a plant that tells me when it's thirsty and then thanks me when I give it water. So here's another euonymus. This is another one that I just feel like I have to point out this time of the year. This is also in a container, receives hardly any water, hardly any care. I trimmed it a little bit. When I got this, it was actually in a really nice conical shape. It's filled out a little bit, but I'm totally fine with that. I love this plant. I've been very, very happy with it. I love the variegation. It's protected. It doesn't get really harsh afternoon sun or anything, so I think that may help it to not burn. You know, a lot of times when plants are like this with the lighter colored variegation, they can burn more easily. But this has been definitely a star in this garden. I've really enjoyed it. This is a spirea that seeded itself here years ago, and I'm loving this fall color that it's putting on. Just beautiful. On the other side of the walkway, here's another Concord barberry. Love that color. Some more sedum. These ones have a little bit smaller blooms on them. I think it's because they are a little bit more protected. They don't get quite as much sun because they're underneath this ornamental plum tree, but still beautiful with their soft pink colors. If I scan this way, you can see this garden bed also is another one that it's relatively new. The bed has been here for a long time, but I've been kind of changing out plantings, trying to have it to be a little bit more cohesive looking, a little bit more repetitious, I guess. And so, yeah, so not all of the plants are completely rooted in, like these hydrangeas. We just planted these in this year. They are showing their fall color, but there is also some buds or some of the blooms that have browned out quite a bit. That's okay. We'll see how it does, how they do over the next couple years. I think just the longer that they are in the garden, the better they will perform. But you can see here, this is what the burning bushes do. Look at this color. It's just beautiful. Super, super pretty. Very, very striking, obviously. So coming along here, I'm going to cut back this Nemesia. I keep saying I'm going to do it, and I haven't done it yet. But see, there's new growth in the bottom. And I think these could very well be perennial for me, so I should cut them back and let their roots have a minute just to chill and not have to support the growth on top, so that they can be a little bit more productive, hopefully next year, a little bit more resistant to the lack of water that I give them. You can see down through here, look at the sweet pink berries on this guy that are coming on. This is its second year in the ground. I'll put the name of this one up here. Oh, it's escaping me also what the name of this one is, but sweet pink berries is kind of what that one is supposed to be known for. More pops of the sedum. Isn't this one cute? Just a little ball. This is one of the proven winners varieties. It's escaping me on what variety it is, but very sweet form on that one. Painted Lady Spirea taking on its fall color, which makes it even just more interesting than it typically is. You can see the typical color that it has right here. It's getting even more vibrant in its coloration, which is just beautiful. The containers with the boxwoods in them and the supertunias are starting to look a little tired, but from far away, the color is still pretty. It's still beautiful. There's the Mini Vista Plumbed Vein, which is a new variety for this year, and then also the Mini Vista White, and then some Bordeaux. Pulling them back, let's see, if I pull back, they still look pretty. If they are up close, then you can definitely see that they are tired. But these ones have not really received any, I think maybe one fertilization, maybe one batch of fertilizer, I think. So just the fact that they are looking this good. This one over here I was just noticing is really lacking in, so this one might have budworms. You can see they're starting to get some damage on the buds, and it's really lacking blooms. So that one might have budworms, which is pretty typical. It's usually the reason why I end up pulling them out this time of the year is because they get budworms, and then I just put them in with my chickens, and the chickens eat all the budworms, and they're all good to go. So we'll see. But for now, they are still very pretty color, and I still enjoy looking out here at them. This garden over here has more of the sedum on that corner. There's a dogwood in the middle, which will start taking on some very beautiful fall color. The Brenna in there is still looking really good. It can definitely take on some damage from insects. You can see a little bit on that leaf right there, but it's still looking really good. I love that plant. I love it for the brightness that it brings to a shade garden. And here is the Summer Crush hydrangea. We planted this one in together last year, and look at all the growth it has. Look at the blooms. The blooms have just stayed beautiful ever since they started to open. There's the whole progression of them. It's just been such a long season for this hydrangea, and I've just absolutely loved it. I'm so glad that it's here. It's just a beautiful addition to this bed for sure. So this is definitely a shade bed. This is one of my more shady spots. There's a sweet box right there, Sarcococa, I think is how you pronounce it. Gorgeous, gorgeous green foliage on that, and it absolutely smells amazing when it starts to bloom late in the winter. See, just around this area, this viewpoint, as I come back on this path, this garden bed, these boxwood along the edge, still looking really pretty. So here in this back garden, your eye definitely goes to the barberry, definitely goes to the sedum. That's right here, these gorgeous, gorgeous colors. I still have this hydrangea here that's not even planted. It's just sitting in a muck bucket and doing well. I just water into the hydrangea every once in a while, and whatever runs out of the nursery can runs into the muck bucket, and it's just as kind of a continuous watering. But that color I think is absolutely beautiful, and I'm really enjoying it there. So I might actually have to plant it into the ground in that spot. So again, over here, there's just done a little bit of cleanup here, trying to not let these wild strawberries get too crazy, but the spireas back here are really starting to take on their fall color and are also pushing out some more buds, which is fun. But the fall color on these is beautiful. It's just yet another reason why I absolutely love spirea in my gardens. Just that kind of almost a bright pink color on the leaves. It's really unique compared to the coloring that most other things take on this time of the year. Just love that grass there. It's doing great. It doesn't usually have such a stately presence in the garden, but it's looking fun in that spot. Again, another spirea right here. We have my one little successful stand of black-eyed Susans. I don't have them anywhere else in my garden. They just do not do well for me except for this little grouping. This is another one that will tell me if it's thirsty, and I'll water it and it perks back up. But anywhere else that I have black-eyed Susans, they have failed. So yeah, they struggle for me for sure. Sweet little arborvitae, I think that's a fluffy arborvitae, I want to say, in that container, hardly has had any water. So I don't know why some arborvitaes struggle so much for me. These varieties, I think this is the Western arborvitae versus the Eastern arborvitae. This one is doing beautiful, and I love it. Very happy with it there. Still some blooms on this really unique, I'll put the name of this one up on the screen, this unique salvia, the white blooms. I think that's so pretty this time of the year. And as I scan this way, again, you can see the sedums. I have this viburnum standard that's taking on its fall color. I think this viburnum is very happy that it's fall so that it can finally drop its leaves and rest. It's kind of struggled this year. I see some damage on the bottom of the trunk. Not really sure what's going on there. I'm not an expert at all on deducing issues that trees and shrubs are having, but anyway, it looks pretty right now, and I'm hoping that it rebounds and does okay next year. So here's some more options for the sedum. You can see how much brighter the blooms are on this one, and just the variance in the color of the stems against the leaves. I just love that. I think that's very sweet. Very sweet to play around with different varieties of plants that you know are awesome. So there's a hebe right there. And just some more things that are looking kind of tired. Some Monet Weigella is looking a little tired. This area is tough because it is right underneath these fir trees, and so does not get much rain at all because the fir trees protect it from that. So tends to be quite a dry garden. This is an area that I think I'm going to bring in. We have a lot of cow manure from our cows that is breaking down and has been kind of, I don't know, festering for the last couple years. And I think that this is the area that's going to receive that probably this winter. Actually, I'm probably going to be bringing that up and putting it into this garden to rejuvenate the soil. I think that it could definitely use that help. So let's come through this arbor. Just to do a little look over of these garden beds. Not much has changed up here over the course of time. This year we didn't plant anything into these beds. I kind of focus my plantings on the same locations just because I know then I have a better chance of regularly watering those areas. So this bed up here, pretty much all of these, I didn't really receive many new plants. I did plant in this lavender this year. I planted in an agastaki right back there that the blooms are totally burnt out or bloomed out. What else? I don't think I planted anything else up here in this bed. So fall is a good time for this bed as far as the spirea go. It looks really pretty, but it's definitely not the peak time for this garden. I need to come in and prune back the lavender. This is some variegated variegated sage. Still looking pretty, but it's, you know, it's spindly on the bottom just because of the time of the year. But yeah, from far away, still looking pretty. I'm gonna have to decide what to do with those two crab apples back there. They are not looking great. My fault. My fault that they're not looking great, but yeah, should probably decide what to do there. So, oh, I guess I was wrong. I do have a few more black-eyed Susans back here that are doing pretty well. I think these guys do pretty well because when I have water in the bird bath, it splashes out onto them, so they get some water from that. But yeah, looking sweet underneath the bird bath. So here's just a look from the back side of this garden towards the back of the house. I don't think I really show this viewpoint very much, but it gives you a little bit of a perspective on the format of the layout of our gardens. This is the walk-through garden. We call it the walk-through garden, obviously, because you can just walk through the beds along these little paths. But you can see the dry creek bed right there in the center of those two beds. And yeah, let's go over here. So this is the area that we were just in recently, planting up these asters and the phlox right there, doing well. I'm excited to have those guys grow in. So yeah, we spent some time here recently, so we don't need to probably go over too much in this area, but another spirea, the viburnum back there is about to start taking on its beautiful fall color. It's lost quite a few of its leaves. It looks like it's been a little bit stressed, but it'll still turn and it'll still be beautiful. This is probably the last season. I think I've said this the last couple years, but probably the last season for this fir tree. It seeded itself here. We've been shearing it. It's absolutely beautiful as a Christmas tree. We'll definitely be putting lights on it for the winter time. It's beautiful, but it's getting large, and we don't really need a full-on fir tree here in our backyard. But it is next to a Seven Suns flower tree that is not the Temple of Bloom. It's not the Proven Winners one, so don't compare it to that. But it has a little bit of blooms on it. Still pretty foliage. I do enjoy the foliage on this one. The blooms, once those come off, they'll have the bright pink calyx, so it'll still look like it's continuing to bloom, which is pretty fun. But I don't know. I would enjoy it. I think if it was a little bit fuller. But again, it's probably my fault that it's not as glorious as it possibly could be. So just to scan over this garden, this spirea here is still needing a little bit of deadheading, but again, fall color is coming, so I don't want to cut on it too much. Still looking really pretty. I think I lost that carex that's right there in the front. There's some new growth in the center of the other two, but yeah, I fixed the drip system in this area, so but too late for those ones. I don't think they got enough water to really take hold, which is unfortunate. Well, actually there is some new growth coming out of the center, so perhaps I should just cut it back. And yeah, so I've been watering it. You can see the soil is wet there, but I think it just had a little bit of shock as they were first planted in. But this is the first year that this clematis back here has not been totally taken out by powdery mildew. It's just absolutely sweetest purple blooms on it, and it's pushing more blooms, so that literally has been blooming all season long. Ever since it started in early summer, well, late spring, early summer, and it's still pushing out the really, really sweet purple blooms. They're a bit smaller right now than they typically are the rest of the season, but yeah, still pretty. I will take it. I will take any fresh new color that my garden wants to give me right now because there's not a ton of it. So it's a Weigela here, a variegated Weigela, and this is the area we also cleaned this area up not too long ago, and it's looking a lot better. So this here is the beauty berry. It's about to be covered in its beautiful purple berries. This one I've thought has died many times. It's been cut back. It's been cut back hard. It's kind of a wonky shape, but I think that's also just because it doesn't get a ton of sun, so it's not very compact. It's kind of just blocking the path to go up that way into the trees, but still, it's pretty, and I don't have the heart to cut back this branch because it's loaded with berries. Variegated honeysuckle back there. That's one that is definitely a winner to me. Smells glorious when it's blooming, and the foliage looks really beautiful all season long, and is one of the few honeysuckles that doesn't get aphids for me. So bunch of heuchera underneath here. So we'll come down this pathway. In this shade garden, I don't think I show it very often, but all of these things in this garden, I have been so happy with. There's a golden euonymus back here in this container that actually isn't overly golden. You can see there's a little bit on here. It doesn't get enough sun to really hold on to its golden color, but I'm okay with it. It's an evergreen, beautiful green evergreen shrub right there, and I will take it for whatever it wants to do. Hosta, this is another one of the Summer Crush hydrangeas, like the one I just showed you on the other side of the patio. It didn't bloom. I thought it was dead, but it pushed out the foliage, and I will take just the foliage. I think it still looks really pretty. A beautiful evergreen fern right there. This is a dogwood that's actually in a container that really probably wants to get out into the ground, but one berry, which is fun. Really, I had to keep cutting this guy back because it's encroaching on the pathway. Same with this hydrangea. This hydrangea has been here forever. It's one that definitely is too big for this spot, but haven't had the heart to take it out, haven't had the heart to move it anywhere. I just keep it here, and it keeps getting huge, and I'm fine with it. I just deal with it. And then there's some lamium underneath there that has just a little bit of color on it, but it's doing lovely, filling in this area. So see, this is actually a hydrangea that was supposed to be variegated, but it's reverted definitely back to primarily just green leaves, and yeah, doing its thing. Unfortunately, this tricolored beech, you can see up there, it is not very happy. We'll see what it does next year. I don't even know. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Might be another opportunity to try something else here in this spot. It is in just a container, underplanted with some hellebores. So it leafed out beautifully, and then seemed to have gotten some whitefly on it. I'm not sure what the deal was, but crisped up and is not looking great. But let's just scan this way. You can look past my broken umbrella into the fall garden. This area right here, I will just leave you with this thought about this space. I would love to put a pond right there where Toby is. Fill in that entire area with a pond. This grass does terribly every year. It's just so compacted. We definitely would need to give it some attention to have grass grow well there, and I don't know that we would do that. So a pond would look awesome in that spot. Here's another little shade garden. This Daphne right here is another one that I absolutely love. It's evergreen also. It is doing exceptionally well in this spot. I've heard that Daphnes are difficult to grow, but this one blooms beautifully in the winter. Smells amazing. Variegated variety, as you can see, and yeah, looks gorgeous. Can definitely tell it's protected from the harsh sun. But love that one. And this Aconocloa is doing well. Ever since I got the drip fixed, this garden has definitely become more happy. You know, the heuchera and the lungwort there, the pulmonaria, definitely much happier since they've been getting a little bit more regular water. I spent some time here on the side patio recently. I am getting paint. You'll be happy to know, for the trim for our door. It definitely needs that, but this evergreen here, this Hinoki cypress that I put here, and the Boston ferns in the container down here, and then this sweet planting in this container are all still doing really well. The vinca might be slowing down just a little bit because it's getting a little bit cooler, but the foliage is still pretty, and definitely making me happy to look at it. So loving that color combination right there next to the front door. And I just love this view down from the side patio, down the driveway. This area, I think, just really looks pretty in the fall, just because at a distance, all the textures and the different colors popping out, it makes me very happy. So you guys, that's going to do it for me for this garden walkthrough, for this garden tour and the very late summer, early fall. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed seeing what's still kind of, going strong, what's really showing off this time of the year in my garden. And then also to give yourself grace when you see what's not doing well. I know we all have those things in our gardens, especially this time of the year, that are tired and wanting to go to sleep for the winter. It's just bound to happen. But I love walking through this time of the year too, just to see what is going strong, so that I can remember to plant more of that and to depend on those types of plants and shrubs and evergreens that are real performers, whether I can give them a lot of care or not. So I definitely appreciate that. I think there's so much to learn from our gardens in the fall. So hopefully you are doing the same in your gardens, walking around. Take videos on your own too, even if you don't share them on social media or on YouTube or whatever. Take videos of your gardens now, noting to yourself, so you can remember come spring what stood out to you in the fall after a very long or short growing season that you may have had, and dealt with, good weather or difficult weather, lots of rain, not enough rain, all those things. It's just a really good time to make a lot of helpful analysis of our gardens. So anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. Thank you for walking through my gardens with me. Let me know if you have any questions, and we will see you guys in the next video. Bye.